Hey, everybody.
How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm just enjoying the weather here. The A little bit hazy today. The air quality here in Nashville is like moderate, not really dangerous, but they're saying that for really sensitive groups. And I keep looking outside and I'm like, yeah, I can see a little bit of a haze here. It's definitely talking about, of course, if you're watching this some other time and not like today in history, then you need to know the wildfires in Canada are sending all this smoke down this way. Of course, the Northeast is just
Yeah,
amazing pictures coming out of there of how bad it is. But we're getting a lot of it here a little bit of it here in Nashville too. So
I'm gonna say we don't have any.
really,
I've not noticed it at all. I'm about an hour north of Nashville, and I apologize. I don't know why my feed is flickering like this. I've looked at everything, and so I'm gonna flicker every once in a while. This particular one, so
yeah, not
you're
sure
just
what the deal
listening
is.
on audio. It should be fine. Uh, but yeah, I'm really excited about today. Our topic is going to be crafting a unique selling proposition, and one of the things that I wanted to cover is I think one of the biggest mix-ups that people have that they think a USP and a tagline are the same thing.
Hmm.
And it's
I
not.
thought it was USP and UPS the same thing.
No.
UPS is what delivers packages to your door, and USP is what delivers customers to your business.
Well, and you can do that, and I like it, but it's not a tagline. I mean, that's the thing. A unique selling proposition. We're going to get into that, but just remember, it's not a tagline. Like you're not coming up with a tagline for your marketing. So I just want to make sure that we have that. So tell us, Carter, what exactly is USP as opposed to UPS?
USP helps you stand out. It's something unique. That's the first word in the acronym, and or first letter in the acronym is for unique. It's to help you think about what sets you apart. And in service businesses, this is a challenge. Everybody likes to say that we're the best, we're the most knowledgeable, we have the most expertise, we're the cleanest, we're the fastest, we're the most affordable, we're the largest, we're the this, it's all the superlatives. But everybody likes to say that. And so it ends up being a distinction without a difference. It ends up being something that's meaningless in the mind of the consumer. It's like, how many times have you walked the grocery store cereal aisle or the chip aisle and you see all the packages that say new look, new and improved, and you just gloss over that. You don't even see that stuff anymore. So a lot of the claims that businesses will make about themselves is kind of empty without really trying to find out a way of communicating it uniquely. And it could be that you're the cleanest, and it could be that really does set you apart, and it's a unique selling proposition. But figuring out how to communicate that in a way that helps people go, oh, they're different. They're, the contrast between your business and someone else's is obvious. So that's the unique part. The selling part, S. This is the thing that you're looking for that makes you attractive, makes people want to spend money with you. And then, of course, the proposition is kind of self-explanatory. But this is what every business needs to have in order to communicate why people should choose us over someone else. It's a real opportunity to draw a distinction. It's a real opportunity to contrast your services with what other people, not necessarily with your competitors, but to contrast your services with what a typical consumer thinks about your kinds of businesses, right? There's always in blue collar and in the trades and in home services, there's always been a stigma of the plumber's crack being the most obvious one, right? So, by one way of creating a unique selling proposition is to show your plumbing business and all of the employees in your business, you know, dressed in smart, clean, tidy uniforms that project a lot of professionalism and not that old stereotype. You know, no, there aren't too many plumbers, you know, that have successful businesses that are still running around, you know, showing their butt cracks, but they're, you know, it's a stereotype, and it's something that you can use to push against to distinguish yourself from other businesses. So, you know, look at that and think about what people perceive as being typical business or typical experience with companies like yours, and then start there with how you're really different. But here's the thing: you better be different. You really better deliver on that. If you're going to raise your hand and say we're not like that, and then people have an experience that's exactly like what you said you're not like, it's not going to help you at all. In fact, it's going to backfire on you pretty bad. So it's important to really deliver on that.
Well, and speaking of deliveries and UPS, I think you did this. I had to leave because the UPS guy came to the door. And my wife's not here, and the dogs went crazy. So I'm glad you went on. I have no idea what you said totally. So
it was brilliant.
I repeat, then I apologize. But here we go. How do you craft a a really good UPS? See, I did it. USP. See what you did to me today?
Got in your head.
No, you did. You and the UPS driver. So, unique selling proposition really has a formula to it, and you touched on some of these. What I heard. So, I just want to go through this and make sure that everybody really understands the formula for crafting a really good unique selling proposition. And then I want to talk about some of the companies that actually have really good unique selling propositions, so you can kind of understand what it is as opposed to a tagline or anything else. So, the very first thing, and you did mention this, is you have to differentiate yourself from someone else. I can't tell you how many times that we go out and do video. One of the questions I ask is, how is your company different from everybody else? And I'm always amazed because the answer that everybody says is, well, we're better than everybody else. And then I go, really? Are you? And they go, well, I think we are. I said, does your customer think you are? Well, I hope they do. So, that's not a unique selling proposition, because everybody thinks they're the best. You wouldn't be in business if you didn't think you were the best. You know what I'm saying? I mean, everybody wants to be the best, right? So you've got to come up with something. So let's talk about a company that's come up with a really distinct differentiation in clothing. And what do you think when I say Patagonia?
I think of the tip of South America.
Okay. But the company, Patagonia.
The clothes. I think of, I honestly don't know much about Patagonia as a brand, because it's not a place that I shop, and it's not my, personal brand aesthetic. So,
well, if you do anything outside, if you're a kayaker, if you do any kind of climbing, if you do hiking, if you do any of that, then they're really known for their environmental positions. I mean, they're known for their clothing that lasts unbelievably how long their clothing lasts. I mean, people who buy Patagonia are environmentalists. They are looking to, save the planet one pair of shorts at a time, I guess. I don't know how else to put it, but that's what they're known for. All across the world, they're known in a very specific area. You're not their customer, but if you were their customer, you would know exactly who they were.
Yeah, and what their unique proposition
Mm-hmm.
was. Yeah,
yeah, because there's no other company in that space that actually has the long-term man, I can't talk today. They're active around environment situation and have been for years. So that's just an example.
Well, you bring up a good point about, catering to your audience.
Oh, yeah.
creating a unique selling proposition that is attractive to the wrong kind of audience is counterproductive as well. I think of this like home service businesses, in an effort to stand out, may say that we're the cheapest around, you know.
Mhm.
And it could be that that's the angle that you want to take, but it also means that the people that you'll be attracting are generally cheap people. They're people who are drawn to, cutting corners and
Looking for a
figuring out,
deal.
yeah,
Yeah.
and they're not loyal. They're not willing to pay for quality. And they're probably going to be the most work of any client that you or customer that you ever served. So you choose use your unique selling proposition to attract the kinds of clients that you want. And I guarantee Patagonia doesn't want me as a client.
No, and I'm sure they don't, and that's okay because you're not their client. But here's the other thing: you need to have a competitive advantage. So what you just said is perfect, because if you think being cheap is your advantage, then fine. That may be your advantage and you want to work with those type of people. But if you want to be in the home service business and you want to work with really high-end quality, consumers, then that may be your competitive advantage. You and I both know a carpet guy here in Nashville, Tennessee, that's probably the premier carpet guy in the world.
And he does not shy away from that fact.
No,
Of the fact that he's not only the premier, but he's the most expensive.
yeah, he is the most expensive, but he cleans things that are made out of giraffe, and I mean, it's amazing what this guy upholstery that he'll clean and the type of carpets that he'll clean. And he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing, and he has created a competitive advantage that he's online, but he gets very little business online. He gets almost every bit of his business through word of mouth, through people who are million and billionaires, not just here, but around the world. I mean, he teaches people in hotels, teaches them how to clean carpets. He goes into some of the high-end cruises and teaches them how to clean carpets. So, I mean, he's not just a carpet cleaner; he is kind of a carpet master, if you will.
Definitely.
So, yeah, so that's just his advantage. He's created a really good competitive advantage in that space.
And it brings him exactly the kinds of customers that he wants.
Yes.
I mean, he gets to travel the world and meet some of the most interesting and stay in the most, ritzy types of places and do carpet cleaning for a very select clientele that's willing to pay whatever it takes.
Yeah.
And that's pretty cool. That's the kind of business he wanted to go after, and he's successfully done that.
He did it. You bet. The other thing is clarity. Let's just stay with the carpet cleaner. You know what? He is really clear about his client. He is very definitive when it comes to, I don't just clean anybody's carpet, period. He kind of almost likes the challenge. And if you're a nobody and you have a challenge, I mean, I'll tell you what he did for me. And he used to be in a B&I group that I was in. That's how I know him. We had just dogs had gone to the bathroom in part of my house when we moved in. And so my dogs continued to go in the same place. I cleaned it. I steamed carpet. I did all kinds of stuff trying to get the urine smell out so the dogs would quit going to the bathroom there. And they never did it when we were home. It was always when we were gone. I would come back, same place. I mean, absolutely same place. And I talked to him one day and I said, I don't think anybody's going to be able to do that. He goes, oh, I can do it. I said, really? He goes, yeah, I can do it. He goes, but y'all need to be out of the house. Just let me do what I do. I said, okay. Took the dogs, took them to the park, was gone half a day, came back. My dogs never went there again. Ever. I mean, it was amazing. It was like, I don't know what he did. I really don't care. It fixed the problem.
Fixed the problem.
Yeah, it fixed the problem. So, but he was very clear that, you know, he just doesn't clean a carpet to clean a carpet. He wants either the biggest challenge or he's gonna charge you the biggest money. I mean, that's it. That's kind of it. So clarity is really important. Be very, very clear who you want your customer to be, and be very, very clear about who you are in relation to that customer. So
Yeah.
that clarity, you know, goes both ways.
Yep.
I like this one, memorability. Okay. The company I think about when I think about memorability is Zappos. Because the people, if you've ever dealt and bought shoes from Zappos, it's an amazing experience. I mean, they really do have the best customer service of anybody I've ever known. Um, I don't know if they still do. I haven't used them as much. I've only used them, I think, one time after they got bought out. But before they got bought out, oh my gosh, it was great dealing with them. I mean, you could buy 6 pair of shoes, get them all delivered to you, keep one, send the other 5 back, and they don't question anything. So that's memorable to me. You know,
Yeah.
that's a real memorable thing. Now, can everybody do that? Probably not. But I'm just saying they built an entire shoe company around their customer service. It was that good. Their culture was around that. Everything was around that. So that was, to me, that's very memorable.
Yeah, it really was or is. Something else about memorability. I mean, you know, when you have served a client successfully, that can be a very memorable experience. But oftentimes, you're trying to attract people that have never had an interaction with you yet, and you're trying to be memorable to someone who maybe has heard about your company but has never used you yet. So that memory of what it's like to work with you, that's where reviews and or referrals become so important.
Mhm.
It's other people's association, their memories of having worked with you, that they're now relating to a brand new person who's never worked with you, and they're telling you, or they're telling that new customer that's never used you exactly what it's like to work with you. They're telling that customer what your unique selling proposition is, and they're
Mhm.
doing it in their own words, based on their own experience. And that's absolutely the best way to be memorable. This, like, you know, when you talk about taglines, yeah, taglines can be memorable, and that's why we do them. And that's, you know,
Mhm.
what we hope is that it gets stuck in somebody's head, and you know, they remember it. But the best, I mean, the point about memorability here is that your existing customers can absolutely help share your unique selling proposition
Yeah.
with new customers.
Yeah. And I think the other company that comes to mind is Apple, just with their design, their sleek design. I mean, and let me tell you, there's a book called Raving Fans that I don't think people talk about anymore. I want to bring that book back because I think Blanchard is the one that wrote it, but you know, it really this is what we're talking about in a lot of ways, that you're creating raving fans and they are going to be around your unique selling proposition. I mean, that's really what they're going to hook on to. So it's really, really important that when you develop your unique selling proposition, that you craft a really good one. So I'm just going to tell you what I think is a great exercise in crafting a great USP. You know, go back through, make sure you've got differentiation, competitive advantage, clarity, and memorability, and play with Chat GPT. I just did this the other night, just played around with it and asked it different questions around a USP, ask it some differential things of, you know, how could I differentiate my company from others, and just have this back and forth conversation. You know, you may not hook into it just right away, but it gives you things to think about. And I think the biggest thing on crafting a great USP is this: be curious. I think so many of us are looking for a definitive answer, that we forget. It's in our curiosity a lot of times that we find the answer, and that takes a while. So you may not find a really good USP right away. It may take you a little bit to figure out who you are, how you're different. How do you want to be different? I mean, that's the thing. It's not just about how are you different today. What do you want to be? You know, find out those things. What your staff, your team, how do y'all want to be different? How do you want to serve people differently? I mean, I don't know the answer. Every company is different in that way, but we're made up of different people. We have different dreams. We have different skill sets and all that. So when everything in your team is put together, how do you want to be different? And I think that's really important to talk about that, and to talk about how can I have an advantage over my competition? What can I do to create an advantage over my competition that I can really sink my teeth into, my team can sink their teeth into, and we can drive to the finish line and make sure that our people and our clients and our customers know that not only do we have this competitive advantage, but we're going to live up to it. And be very clear about what those things are. And that alone should make you memorable.
One of the things I remember when we were going through this same exercise in, one stage of our branding with our own company, we started asking our customers, what is the reason that you chose us over other options? What was it about us that made you think, wow, I want to work with them because they're different? They're different because this. What is that quantity, that thing that sets us apart? And so to hear, what people shared about that really helped give us a clearer idea of how we are perceived. What our unique selling proposition, the perception of what we offer really is. And that was very instructive. It helped us realize that, that the real competitive advantage that we have has nothing to do with the marketing services that we offer. It's because we don't jerk people around and we're honest with them. That was the number one thing that people kept saying was, I feel like you guys are the first marketing company that's ever shot me straight, that's ever just given me what I need to know and not giving me the runaround. And, that has nothing to do with the marketing services that we deliver. It has to do with the way that we treat people. And so that was important. And I think that, you'll find that your customers will share with you, look in those reviews that you've gotten, talk to some of your best clients, the ones that are your biggest ardent fans, and ask them why they chose you. What is it about you that sets you apart? When you tell other people about us, what do you tell them? And I think that can help you get real clear about not just what your USP is, but how to communicate it to other people, right? Because when they tell you how they communicate it with other people, you'll understand better how to, mirror that for other people too.
Yeah, and I think this is really true, Terry. Your USP can't be something as vague as you're the best. It just, yeah, it's that's so generic. It's just so generic. And I'm going to put this up too, just because many people can be technically competent, but you win by building trust and delivering over-the-top service with systems and excellent follow-up and communication with the client. Now, that's true, Chuck. However, that's not a unique selling proposition. If you look at that, the competence that you have, the build trust and delivering over-the-top service, there's a lot of companies that do that. But what is their unique selling proposition? What is it that they do that nobody else can do? If you've got those systems and everybody's got the systems in place, you still have to differentiate yourself at some point. So if that's not enough, then what do you do? To me, when you really talk about a unique selling proposition, it's got to be more than just what you do.
Well, and it's got to be put in terms that your customer understands.
Yes.
Because you know, Chuck was in a business that had technical aspects to the work that was being performed that most consumers didn't understand. Just like in our marketing agency, we have clients that don't have a clue what it is that we do for them, and that creates a problem. You know, we can knock it out of the park for someone, but if they don't understand what we've done for them, if they can't see, you know, an actual verifiable trail from the efforts that we've made to the results that they've gotten, they may be attributing all of those great results to something other than us. And you know, that doesn't work very well for us if that's the case. So it's incumbent upon us to explain to our customers and educate them. And, you know, I think part of that over the top service that Chuck was able to do is he's a great educator.
Yeah.
In fact, he just did this with our team and helped a lot of our new employees that haven't been exposed a lot to the chimney industry yet to really understand some of the basic concepts and terminology in chimney, so that they can start, you know, writing better and creating better content. And so I know that Chuck educated his clients as well. And,
yes,
you know, he is, you know, constantly explaining to them what needs to be done and why it's important, which gives a lot of trust and a lot of over the top service feelings of, you know, so that's the way that you can take those things that you do and translate them into something that your customer understands. Because when they feel educated, when they feel taken care of, you know, then they understand what it is that you provide to them.
When you look at education, one of the biggest, and I'm coming from this is not from me, this is from my mother and dad, who were lifetime educators. One of the things that they said over and over again as I was growing up, when they were talking to different teachers and my dad trained and all this kind of stuff, was this: education is great as long as the person that you're educating can take what you're saying and to be able to take it to somebody else and tell them. If you educate somebody and they can't educate another, then that education falls short. And this is one of the big issues that I find, that we go in, I do it. It's terrible. I go in and I educate, but I'm educating on my level. In other words, I'm using terminology. I'm using all the things that I know. You know, it makes me feel great. I'm in there talking about schema markup and all this, you know, hootsy tootsy stuff. And everybody's got a deer in the headlight look. I'm really not educating. I'm just talking over people. So be really careful when you talk about education, that you are actually educating people as to the things they need to know so that they can go and talk to somebody else about it. And that's a hard thing when you're in an industry that uses, you know, all the acronyms and all the stuff that we have. One of the hardest things for all of us is to get out of our head and to be able to, and I hate this word, I don't, to be able to bring it down to a level that a consumer understands. So I know that one of the things that I've talked with Alan Rush about before is that's one of the things that he does when he goes out with people, is the technicians, trying to get them to forget some of the technical terms and bring it down to where it's really relatable in a consumer way. And that may be your great USP, guys, because now you're a fantastic communicator. That may be the thing that you do better than anything else, is to bring those really hard concepts all the way down into simple communication so that somebody really understands their system.
And we see that a lot in reviews.
Yes.
You know, people will often comment about, man, I've had 3 other companies come out and tell me that I need to have this work done. But it wasn't until I had XYZ company out that I feel like I finally understand. They took the time to finally, you know, help me understand why this is so important and why it needs to be done. thank you so much for helping me understand the inner workings of an important part of my home. That's a unique selling proposition for sure.
Yes, it is. And that's a simple thing, but people don't look at that as a USP. I mean, they don't even consider that the simple things can be the most important unique selling proposition their business has.
When you think about your business in terms of bricks and mortar, or wrenches and pipe, then you're not going to think that the thing you really deliver to people is education and knowledge.
Yeah.
And but that's the thing, is you get to turn wrenches and lay pipe, but at the same time you're doing it for customers who, Maya Angelou is the one that said it. People will remember, people won't remember what you say, they won't remember what you do, but they will absolutely remember how you made them feel.
Yeah.
And that's a unique selling proposition right there. That is, the way that you take care of people, the way you care for them during a service experience is oftentimes the thing that people are paying for, not the actual service that you're there to perform.
Yeah, if you take any service, I don't care what it is. It could be our service, it could be a home service, it could be anything. The core value of the service is how you make people feel. That's it.
Yep.
Do you make them feel valued, or do you make them feel like they're thrown away? They're just a number. You make them feel special, or do you make them feel like they're just your paycheck? I mean, those are very, very valid things. So yeah, I'm glad you said that. Yep.
I'll never forget, just real quick on that, I know we're running over time already, but the story behind what I was just talking about was the plumber that showed up to someone's door, knocked on the door, they opened the door, rather than introducing himself or anything else, he just walks in. He asks, where's the bathroom where you're having a problem? So they point him down the hall. He goes in, he looks and sees and knows exactly what needs to be done, and he fixes the problem. In fact, he kind of anticipated what the problem was going to be, so he already brought the right parts in with him when he showed up. He's done in less than 10 minutes. Problem done. He walks out. He doesn't describe what he did for the client. He doesn't tell them what he did. He doesn't tell them what the problem was and what the solution was to fix it. He just presents a bill, and the customer is a little bit confused, but he pays the bill. The guy leaves without really even trying to make connect or on any kind of human level. The guy leaves, gets in his truck, and drives away. Now, in terms of like efficiency, that is probably the most efficient service call ever, right? I mean, absolutely nailed it with regard to the amount of time he took to solve a problem, in and out, no muss, no fuss, get it done, and at a reasonable price. But will he get a good review? Probably not.
He probably won't get a review.
Yeah, no review at all. And maybe the customer is thankful for having somebody that came out and did it, but I guarantee you he's going to comment, that customer is going to comment when he tells his friends about the last plumber that he used. And he's going to say, well, the guy didn't talk much and he wasn't very friendly, but he came in and he did it. So I guess he's, reliable. I don't know. But man, he was a weird dude. That's what you're going to hear. So, it really does matter. I mean, the thing that people comment on most has little to do with how well you turned a wrench or swung a hammer or the quality of your parts and service or your knowledge of, NFPA code. The thing that they're going to remember and care about is, he took an extra minute to help my 3-year-old son, do something, or he pet my dog and asked what her name was. Those are the things that people remember, how you made them feel. Sorry, I know I didn't need to say any of that, but I felt like I couldn't.
No, I mean, I think that's important. I think that's important. But there are a lot of different USPs. In the end, though, I would say whatever you choose as your USP, remember, whatever it is, choose something that makes people feel really good about what you've done and who you are as a company.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I would say. All right, guys. Chuck, Linda, thank you so much for your comments. Really, really appreciate it.
Terry,
Chuck,
not Linda.
oh, Terry, sorry. I do that all the time. I look at, it's Terry Lima, and I
Double
looked at
Lima.
the L and just went there. So Terry, thank you very much. Appreciate your comments. Appreciate you guys being on. Look forward to being here in 2 weeks. So let me just explain this, because first of all, we do have a podcast. Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, Podvine, or your favorite player is great. We are not going to have a show next week because Carter and I both are not available next week. Carter is going on a college visit with his son, and I am going to be on vacation with my oldest grandson. So we have decided that we are not going to be here next week, but we'll be here the week after that. So in 2 weeks, we will be here, and I don't even know what we're talking about, but I'm sure we'll figure it out. I thought I put it on here, but I guess I didn't. So hold on just a second. I'll tell you what we're going to go talk about. We are going to talk about.
It's marketing Q&A with Carter and Taylor. Is what
That's it. That's it. We're having the Q&A time.
Yeah.
So, yep, that's what we're going to do in 2 weeks. So look forward to having you guys here. Thank you again, and y'all have a great rest of your week.
Bye, everybody.